Hello everyone, welcome to English with Evelyn. How are you all? I hope all of you are happy, healthy and are doing fine. I'm sure the students must be enjoying their holidays. So that is something we all should do. We all should enjoy the time that has been given to us now to, rejuvenate ourselves. But the students of class 10 and 12, they also have to use this time to, fill any gaps that they feel that they have. If you're not very good at presenting your work, you should practice your handwriting. If you're bad at spellings, then you should practice dictation. So or mathematics, anything that you feel that this is something which is not exactly the content, but something that is going to help me present my work better, get more marks, help me get less marks deducted for common errors or for careless mistakes. You should work on that part. Holidays are a good time to work on that part. So keeping up the good work that we've been doing, before I took a break of, I think, a long break of 3 months, we were doing the literature lessons. Okay, so I thought we should continue with class 10 literature lessons. And in this series, I'm going to begin with the first lesson that is there in your main reader, first flight, A Letter to God. Now, those of you who are in class 10 would be interested in the questions also that will follow the lesson. But those of you who are just reading, watching the video to listen to the story, you can skip watching the questions. Okay, so without further ado, let us begin with the lesson. With a story, I should say. I should call it a story. So, every story has a writer. Our writer is G.L. Fuentes. Now, he was a Mexican novelist, a poet and a journalist, and a celebrated poet and a journalist. And his father was a shopkeeper. Okay, he used to run a general store. And while helping his father, Fuentes came in contact with a lot of farmers and laborers, and that is what gave him a deep insight into the characters, of the laborers and the farmers. And then you can read about his important works. Okay, you can pause the video and read. But the important thing here is that his account of the protagonist of the story is a product of his keen and close observation of such characters. Now, this is a list of important words. If you are interested, you can again pause here and listen to this. So let us begin with the story right away. This is my favorite part of the video. So the story, A Letter to God, was written by G.L. Fuentes. It depicts the unwavering faith of a farmer in God. It begins with a farmer. His name was Lencho, and he lived in a solitary cottage on the top of a hill. Now, Lencho was hoping for a rain shower to nourish his field of corn. He saw the flowers and he was very hopeful of getting a good harvest, and all he needed now was a downpour, or at least a shower of rain. Now, his wish was granted, and soon there was a heavy downpour. Lencho was delighted, and he told his family that the raindrops were actually coins. What he implied was that the rainfall will ensure a luxuriant harvest. But Lencho's happiness was short-lived, for soon the heavy rain gave way to a hailstorm. He hoped that the hailstorm wouldn't last for too long, but it continued for almost an hour. Lencho's field looked as if it was covered by salt. Not a single leaf or flower was visible. The hailstorm had destroyed everything. It was a sad night for Lencho and his family. Everyone discussed the sad fate that awaited them. But eventually, they all knew that God will definitely help them. The next Sunday, Lencho wrote a letter to God. Telling God all about the hailstorm, Lencho asked him to send 100 pesos so that Lencho could survive till the next harvest. And he himself went to the post office to post the letter. This is the importance that he gave to the letter that he had written. Now, when the postman saw a letter addressed to God, he laughed heartily, and he showed that letter to the postmaster also, who also laughed at the quaint address. But at the same time, the postmaster was impressed by the writer's faith, and he wished that he too also have an equally firm faith in God. He decided to respond to the letter so as not to break the writer's faith. Now, when he read the letter, he realized that he needed more than just goodwill to answer the letter. He needed 100 pesos. It's not that a letter has been written and you just have to take a pen and paper and answer the letter. No, when he read the letter, he realized that the writer wants something from God. And that something, if he wanted to preserve his faith in God, he had to give that something to him. Okay? Just like children writing a letter to Santa and then the gifts coming to them, and this is how their faith in Santa continues from year to year. Now the postmaster, who has been described as a fat, amiable person in the story, he was a very generous person. He gave a part of his salary. He took donations from his friends and colleagues, but he was able to raise a small amount, only 70 pesos. Nevertheless, he was not disheartened by it. He put the 70 pesos that he had collected in an envelope and he wrote God on it, G-O-D, nothing else. And he waited for Lencho to come and collect his mail. Now Lencho, when he opened the envelope the next week, he was not surprised at all to see the money. However, he did count it and realized that it was short by 30 pesos. He was very upset. He walked up to the counter and he asked for a paper and he wrote a letter and he put it in the mailbox. The postmaster wasted no time and opened the letter. The content of the letter was as follows. God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. So this is what Lencho writes. And this is where the story ends on this note. Now, the way the lesson ends, there's a twist in the end. What anybody or the postmaster, like the postmaster, we all, must have expected that Lencho is going to, be overjoyed when he saw all that money, and Lencho would be very grateful, and then, he would thank God or something of the sort. But, Lencho was never doubtful that he would receive the money. However, when he counted the money and he found that there were 30 pesos less, this amount was short of 30 pesos, he got very angry. Because he knows the kind of faith he has in God, he feels that God cannot make a mistake. And I have asked for 100 pesos. Why would God give me 70 pesos only? God knows how much I need that money. So Lencho, the irony lies in the fact that Lencho believes in a God that he hasn't seen, but does not trust the people who were, around him. Now, this has something to do with, the universal reputation that post office people, have, that they're not honest, and if there's something in the post which interests them, they're going to, steal it, right? Apart from this is also, ironical that people have more faith in God whom they haven't seen than people who are all around him. I think I'm repeating this point. Anyway, so this is the point at which the story ends. Now, we can make a very interesting activity in the class. We can guess as to what is it that the postmaster will do next. Will he give the money quietly to Lencho? Maybe from his next month's salary, or is he hurt by the insinuation, by the attack that the post office people are crooks? Is he going to battle that? Is he going to talk to Lencho about it? Is he going to clear his name and clear the reputation of the post office people here? What is he going to do? So we can have a discussion in the class with this question. All right. Now, the other questions that can be framed on the basis of the story, which are going to help us to comprehend the story, will follow now. Okay. So now those of you who are just here to hear the story can leave, or you can stay with us and answer the questions with us. So the first question is, describe the destruction caused by hailstones in Lencho's field. Now, you can pause, write the answer on your own, or think of an answer and see if your answer matches the answer that I have given here. The hail rained on Lencho's house, garden, cornfield, the hillside, and the entire valley for an hour. The field was white as if covered with snow. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn in Lencho's cornfield was completely destroyed. Now, question number 2. What were Lencho's feelings when the hail or the rain had stopped? Lencho was filled with sadness after the rain or hail had stopped. His corn was totally destroyed. He told his sons that they would have no corn that year, but later he became hopeful of getting help from God. What did the postmaster do in order not to break Lencho's firm faith in the Almighty or God? In order not to break Lencho's firm faith in God, the postmaster decided to answer the letter as God himself. He collected money from his employees, friends, and contributed a part of his salary to send it to Lencho. He put the money in an envelope and sent it. Was Lencho surprised to find a letter with money in it? Why or why not? No. As we've discussed earlier, Lencho was not at all surprised to receive the envelope with the money in it because he had deep faith in God. His unshakable faith gave him the confidence that God would definitely help him, and he only has to ask him. Why did Lencho say that the raindrops were like new coins? Lencho's crops were ready for harvest. As raindrops would help him getting a better harvest, resulting in more prosperity, Lencho compares them with new coins. Who is the protagonist of A Letter to God? So we know that the protagonist is Lencho. Lencho is the main character of the story, A Letter to God. He is a poor farmer who is the patriarch of a large family. He has strong faith in God. Lencho lived in a small house which was situated on the crest of a low hill in the valley. Lencho wished for the rain or a shower for his field in which he had grown his crop, but due to the hailstorm, his crop was destroyed. Lencho wrote a letter to God as he thought that he would be the only one to help him in his bad times. He wrote to God to send him 100 pesos so that he and his family could survive such a difficult situation. When he saw that there were only 70 pesos, he thought that the post office people were the crooks who had stolen his money. What impression have you formed of the postmaster? The postmaster, as described in the story, was a fat and amiable fellow. He was a sensible and a compassionate human being who was amazed by the depth of faith in God that is shown by Lencho. Although at first he was amused by Lencho's letter to God, he soon became serious and wanted to help Lencho because he didn't want his faith to be shaken. The postmaster himself gave a part of his salary and also requested his employees and a few friends to contribute for charity. He felt happy and satisfied when Lencho received the money. This shows that he was a kind and empathetic person. He loved to help others. And with this, we have come to the end of the video. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much. Please come back later. Bye-bye.